So, obviously, all of you deal with the Millicron extruders where you have vacuum. I'm sure plenty of you have vented and had to dig out the vents. Least fun experience when it's the dead of summer, right? So, this is kind of to help you not have to go back up there again, because you can't get vacuum, all right? So, real quick, kind of just from front to back, you got the vent block, the vent cap, and the gaskets, right? You got the hoses, you got the canister, the filter, and then the pump. Once you get to the pump, it is no longer your responsibility, because we're not about to have you start tearing apart the vacuum pump and put it back together, and then that's beyond your job. That's when you get to maintenance. But from here over is all you guys. You should not call maintenance before dealing with all of those things first, okay? So first things first, you got the vent block. I'm sure you've seen this view 50 million times and you hate it, all right? So you're gonna have material coming up, obviously, and you gotta dig it out and all of that, okay? One thing that a lot of people tend to miss is gonna be the vent cap. If these vent caps don't have the gaskets, okay, you're not gonna get good vacuum, all right, because that's gonna leave a gap. And I don't know if you guys have experienced this or not. A lot of people don't even check them. But if you have experienced it, then you understand that this gasket right here can cause you to have 10 pounds less, 15 pounds less vacuum, and you're still gonna be gassing.
You're gonna get
right?
a good seal.
So after you deal with that, the hoses. Everybody loves clearing these out, right? So typically you take it off, shove a rod through it, clear them out, okay? Now, this is where we kind of start to get to a position that most people skip, all right? So every single one of you, I'm sure, has dug the vents out, cleaned out a hose, and it's been connected to that first canister. And that's where you started, right? Right, everybody did that? So here's the next part. There's two canisters. Raise your hand if you've actually cleaned out both canisters. Exactly. Okay, there's the one in the front that everybody deals with, fills up with powder, regrind, all your material. Okay, that's common. Problem is, nobody ever goes to the second one. Now, most of the time, the second one isn't going to cause you problems, but it's towards the back of the extruder, and it's typically what removes all the excess liquids from the material so that you can get a solid part. Okay. So this hose that goes all the way across goes to that back canister, all right? They have different filters. You've seen this one, right? You've seen it beat up, damaged, caked in powder, unrepairable, okay? Swap them out, no big deal, okay? This one, have you guys seen this before?
I've never seen it.
This is in the second canister, okay? It is just as important, all right? Now, it won't cause your problems as much as it has in the past, as this one does, but it is just as important. This pulls out all the super fine particles in the material, like the little bit of dust and stuff like that, helps remove that, okay? It prevents it from getting back to the pump and ruining the pump, all right? So, if you do not have a filter in either of those canisters, do not start up, okay? If you are in the middle of cleaning it out and you open it up and notice that there is no filter in that second canister and you're in the middle of clearing it out, feel free to break it off and go get one from maintenance, okay? It is important to have them because it can do damage to the pump, all right? So, that's the pump. If you get to that point, chalk it up as a loss, all right? I do not want anybody trying to work this pump because it is not your responsibility. That is outside the scope of your job, okay? So, proper tools. We were discussing this, but brass rod, eventually they will have T-handle plungers on every single one of them.
That's the one thing.
Yes. Needle nose pliers, correctly used. Okay, if you dig it out a little bit and then you grab the small parts and pull them out, that's one thing. Do not jam them in there and get down to the screw. Okay, you cannot hit that screw because it can damage the screw, the flights, the die, the head, everything, okay? Anything other than brass will do damage to that extruder, all right? Now, last but not least, I'm gonna show you a video, and it's gonna kind of give you a breakdown, and then we'll go over questions at the end, all right?